In 1979, at 21 years old, Virginia Ginny Carnes started going out at night and harassing law enforcement in Kansas.
He's trying to get a ticket because I know that would make my dad mad.
Through all of her visits to prison, the state hospital, and clinics in the years following, Carnes' father continued to deny the existence of her mental illness.
My dad would say, well, yeah, stop playing the games. And I said, Dad, I'm not playing games.
Her move to Montana would come in 1992, following a conversation with a job coach after an overdose landed her in a clinic.
He said, where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to be doing? And I sat and I said, you know, I'd rather be in Montana working on a ranch.
Carnes eventually decided to move to the Treasure State for her health.
Looked around, fell in love with Great Falls, hated Billings. And I knew when I drove into Great Falls that I was home.
While she considered herself better off, the same pattern of crime against law enforcement continued, eventually leading to a felony charge.
When I moved here in 1998, she was part of our process. We all knew her vehicle, we all knew her, and we all knew where she lived.
After her last jail visit in '98, Carnes saw a new psychiatrist who ultimately found her the right medication.
I said, this is a miracle drug. I said, I have no inappropriate anger in me. I mean, I get angry at things, yes, but it wasn't 24/7.
She says if it weren't for the right prescription, she would still be struggling with the anger that she had felt for so long.
I would be in prison or dead. I had an awful lot of officers draw guns on me, and chances that one day somebody would have pulled a trigger or I would have gone to prison for stalking were very strong.
One of those officers prepared in the event of a crisis was Great Falls Police Captain David Bowen. He described his first encounter with Ginny in an alley at night.
I was out on patrol and I had to do some police reports, and so I had backed my car in and was writing a report with the dome light on. It was at night, and I had this weird feeling like someone was watching me, so I dimmed the light and looked, and here was a car sticking out of an alley with someone in it. It turns out it was Virginia. And I'd heard enough stories, and I thought, I'm going to go just find out what she's all about. So I went over there, approached her in her vehicle, and we started a strange dialogue between myself, Virginia, and an empty car seat in the back, who she was projecting, I think, an alter ego. And so the three of us had this conversation, and it was strange, and her behavior was up and down, and I felt really unsettled and unsafe. And so I quickly ended the conversation, got back in my cruiser, and that was my first introduction to Virginia.
Ginny now counsels an addiction support group and sits on several boards that advocate for better mental health services, working with officers who went from adversaries to allies.
At one time we had somebody who we were afraid of, and now we're walking in to combat an issue hand in hand.
And her work is far from finished.
And that's been my goal, is to get somebody in jail who can work with people, because right now if you're suicidal or you're out of control, they isolate you. And that's about the worst thing you can do to a person with mental illness.
Bowen says her story has reminded him to never give up hope, even during those uneasy conversations in dark alleys.
Never become cynical, because people can change, and I think she's a wonderful example of how people can do that, and it's changed my outlook. Captain Schaefer and I both, how we view people, and I'll tell you what, it's miraculous what's happened, and I'm so proud of her.
In Great Falls, Keely Van Middendorp, MTN News.